Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Jody Anderson Duquette here with Workamper News. And if you're not familiar with us, we are the original entity for Workamping, and we've been helping RVers find great jobs in great places since 1987. And today we're going to learn about some great jobs in the great place of Michigan. Today we are online with Crystal with Express Employment Professionals, and she is going to give you all the ins and outs of working the Michigan Sugar Beet Harvest. So those of you who are online live with us, we're happy to take your questions. Once Crystal goes through her presentation, we'll move into our Q&A section. So you're welcome to type in questions at any time that we'll cover during that Q&A. If you are on a desktop or laptop computer, you should have a control panel there on your screen with a questions or chat section that you can type into. If you're on a smartphone or tablet device, you should have that option on the bottom of your screen. You can tap on to type in your questions and then tap back to the presentation screen. We are recording today's webinar, and so we'll make that recording available. We'll go out via email to everyone who registered. And so those of you who received that email, if you have other Workamper friends or RVer friends that you think may also be interested in that opportunity, definitely just click that forward button and send it on to them. But the recording will also be available. We'll have it on the Workamper News YouTube channel. I'll put the links on our social. We'll also have it on the Express Employment featured employer page at workamper.com/express. So lots of different avenues to get connected with Express and learn more about this opportunity and share it as well. All right, well, I think that's all the housekeeping we need to take care of. Crystal, I thank you so much for joining us today and for taking the time to, get into the details and help us learn all about this awesome opportunity.
Absolutely. Good morning, Jody. It's always a pleasure working with you. It's a great partnership to be able to educate the Workamper community and get, our seasonal information out to everybody. You guys do a great job with promoting us and, helping us reach the people as well. So many other opportunities that your company provides information to. So thank you so much. Good morning to everybody that's joining us. As we are going to go through this Jobinar, it's going to be educational. Take notes. Look, we should answer most of your questions, but it's definitely a good time for us to get educated about the Michigan beet harvest. So with that, Jody, I'll just go ahead and start and get us on the way.
Let's do it.
All right. Okay, everyone, today we're going to go over several topics. And so today's topics are going to be, of course, the sugar beet harvest, why we need your help, harvest locations, available positions. We're going to talk about working conditions, the pay, which is always something that everybody wants to know. What are we going to make? Solo work campers, campgrounds, what's the weather like, our hiring process, some of the questions that we have, frequent questions, and we're going to learn more, ask more questions at the end. Please, jot down a question as we're going through this and make sure that you leave with as much knowledge as you can today. Over to the left, I have a picture of, those are sugar beets. So if you're like me, again, my name is Crystal and I am the project manager, but I was a work camper. So I started working 6 years ago at a piling site, and I thought I was going to have sugar beets in my salad. So if you look, these are not the sugar beets that we put in our salad. These are the sugar beets that are processed into many products that we all take part in, our drinks, our snacks, and different foods. This is the sugar that Michigan Sugar processes for that. And so they're some are bigger than others, you can see through the picture, and it's just very unique to actually take a look at a sugar beet. The sugar beet harvest. So each fall we welcome work campers from all over the United States to join Michigan Sugar Company in harvesting their sugar beets. As part of the amazing team, you'll have the opportunity to meet new people, work hard, and make a real difference and have fun while you do it. So these are some of the benefits that you will get with working at the Michigan Beet Harvest. You can earn up to $1,400 per week. Our season is mid-October to that's our start date. So this year we're looking at anywhere around the 15th to the 20th, weather permitting. That would be a start date for us. And we're working 18 to 21 days. And that again is weather permitted. We supply camping fees. So when you show up to the harvest, we take care of your camping fees. We take care of getting you registered at the campsite. We do all of the work behind the scenes to make sure that when you arrive, you are ready to be trained and have a great, successful harvest. One of the big questions that comes up is, are we working in the fields? We are not working in the fields. We are not out in the fields plucking the beets. We are not harvesting the beets. We have amazing farmers in their community that does that for us. We are working at the piling sites. No experience necessary. So this is a job that we take pride in training you. So if you're anyone like myself, I had never worked in this type of environment. I was new to being around machinery. I was new to the agriculture world, and I was so thankful for the training that was given to me to make me feel comfortable. So, you know, if you're a little nervous and say, I've never worked in this environment, please understand that I myself was a girl with deer in headlights. My eyes were big, and I was not sure if I could handle it, but it is definitely a place that we do the training, and I feel that most people, if they're able to meet the qualifications, can do it without any experience. So some big news we want to share from 2023. We had, with our different harvest last year in 2023, we had 127,220 truckloads of beets delivered. That's a lot of truckloads. In those truckloads, we processed 4,860,574 tons of beets. When I tell you, you will see beets in your dreams, I am not lying. You will see beets for days. This is just something, when we say it is a unbeatable experience, we talk about you can't beat this experience, and those are our puns that we throw out there. We are not lying. There are lots of beets that you see. 34 tons / acres for an average yield of beets. 17.80% average sugar content from sugar beets. And so this harvest is a huge process into the sugar industry and bringing the sugar beets on here, and you guys showing up and doing this harvest. It is amazing when the truckloads come in. You see beets and you watch them process through the piler, and it's a great event to watch. Why we need your help. So there are several reasons why we need your help. One, Workampers are amazing, and you guys are phenomenal. You have a work ethic like none other. I was a Workamper myself, and so we traveled on the road together, and I see so many of you, and we have found that Workampers have a tremendous work ethic and be trusted to get the job done. We show up and we show out. That's what I like to tell people. Workampers, we're traveling for a lifestyle that we have chosen, and many of us are working on the way, and this is just, you know, we show up, we're there to make money, but we're also there to have an experience, and that's why we need your help. The need for more people. So Michigan Sugar hires over 700 workers stationed at 14 sugar beet piling stations. And so some of our areas in Michigan are just, they've just come to a place where there's not a lot of locals. There's just not a lot of people. And so some of our sites are fully staffed with a majority of Workampers. And so some of our areas, we have a lot of locals, so there's not that many Workampers, but for the Michigan Beet Harvest, you are wanted and needed, not only for your work ethic, not only for, you know, the way that you guys show up and have a great attitude and a great community. The actual towns need you. Our towns, our mom and pop shops, our, you know, sugar factories, they need us as Workampers to come through. Location. So a lot of people say, where in Michigan? I know my first year, everybody held their hand up and showed me the thumb and said, we are in the thumb of Michigan. And so I learned really quick, that's how the Michigan folks describe where they're at. So this is on the east side of the state. So if you take a look at the map, that is where we are located. On this map, we have 14 different piling sites with offices located in 3 of those places. So in Bay City, Seaboing, and Sandusky, those are the express offices. We set up offices there to welcome all of you when you show up in Michigan. That's where you finish doing a lot of your paperwork and meet your staff, meet your supervisors. But all of the other locations are places that you work. So in these pictures, those are piling sites. And so it might look small to you in these pictures, but those are beets on top of beets, and those machines that you see in yellow and red, those are the pilers. And so this is what a piling ground looks like in Michigan. So the majority of what we do is we hire for a position, which is the tare taker piler operator. So let me just go into a little bit of that for you and kind of help explain that. The piler operator maneuvers the piler and control switches. So you see the gentleman with his thumbs up, he is actually up there running the piler. He is controlling the different parts of that piler so we can set that truck in there and go ahead and get those beets into the machine and get them processed and get them lined up as you see, rows and rows of beets. That is what the piler operator is doing. As a piler operator tare taker, you're going to secure tickets from trucks. One of the fun facts are the farmers get paid based off the sugar content of their beets, and so there are tickets that are connected to that truck driver, and we will take those tickets and make sure that we process those beets correctly, and so that farmer can get paid. We will perform cleanup operations that include sweeping and shoveling, and you're shoveling the mud out of the way, beets that maybe fell off the truck or fell off the piler. We're getting those, cleaned and out of the way to make sure that it's a safe environment for those of us that are on the ground as well as the truck drivers. And so you are busy cleaning up and making sure that the machine is clean to run properly. You're going to communicate with the direct drivers to assure safe and accurate unloading. So that's where we're going to learn and training hand motions to tell the driver when it's time to come forward, tell the driver when it's time to stop. Maybe if they're lined up, incorrectly, we're going to help guide them. So we don't necessarily talk to our drivers as they stay inside their trucks, but we are just using our trained signals to them. The piler operator has a light system where they're able to communicate via light on when they're to start dumping, and so many different things with communication happens between the piler operator and then ourself, waving our hands and directing them. And so it's always something that you do learn in training. So you would learn, how to communicate effectively. Must be able to lift a minimum of 25 pounds. So people ask us, what am I lifting? So again, we talked about taking samples from the trucks. And so in those samples and taking those samples, we place, when we are taking a sample, we place some of the beets that come from the piler into bags, and we put those in bins to be taken into the lab. And so those bags are ones that you're going to be picking up and moving over to a certain section to be taken to the lab. That is why we need you to move. It is not a constant bending from the ground, picking up the bag. You're not dragging bags all over. It's just a process of, just a couple beets that we put in a bag, throw the ticket in there, and you're going to have to lift that bag to place it to another spot. Special equipment operator. So this is also a position that we do offer. Now, mind you, this is nothing that we do during our process of hiring for the sugar beet harvest on, when you're doing your application and speaking to your Workamper coordinator. This is something that there is a little survey on our website that you'll be able to fill out. And on this website, if you have this experience, we place you in what's called a training day. So you're able to go out to Michigan Sugar piling sites. They take a look and they train to see if you are able to be a special equipment operator, and then Michigan Sugar chooses that position. So this is not a position that Express chooses. The qualifications that Michigan Sugar does have is you must be able to lift a minimum of 50 pounds. You must be able to sit for an extended period. Must have a valid driver's license. So this is something that is not, last year was our first year. So this will be our second year that we do need a valid driver's license. This is not a CDL license. This is, this is just your normal valid state ID driver's license. I have had questions, can it be just a state ID? And unfortunately, they're asking for a valid driver's license due to the fact that we are moving a machine. You must demonstrate the ability to operate the skid steer properly. So basically, to say that, we got to know what we're doing here. The position is selected again by Michigan Sugar after training. So you'll sign up for it. Make sure you speak to your Workamper coordinator. Tell them you have experience with this. There is a slight difference in pay, and all of that is discussed when you're talking to your Workamper coordinator and you want to sign up for that training. But this is not a job that we actually guarantee when hired from Express. Working conditions. So we are not here to sugarcoat it. I'll tell you right now, I've been in Michigan for 5 years, and I have never been in a state that you can go through every season within 1 day or within a week. So Michigan definitely is a place that we need to be prepared. And so we've given you a little bit of information, and I'll go over how you can be prepared for the working conditions. These shifts are 9-hour shifts. We hire for 9-hour shifts. Some locations do run up to 12-hour shifts. We, however, do not hire for that. The 12-hour shifts are based off the needs of Michigan Sugar. And so what that means is if you are working a piling site that has a 12-hour shift or needs you to work 12 hours, that is something that's discussed by the staff, Michigan Sugar staff, but we do not guarantee anything over the 9-hour shift. We operate 7 days a week, weather permitting. We do not guarantee night or day shifts. And so let me just explain that. So weather permitting, Mother Nature has a mind of her own. We want to get in there and do the harvest within the 18 and 21 days and work 7 days a week and get it done. Mother Nature decides some days that that's not the case. So there are going to be days that we are not operating, and I'll get more into that, but most of the time we want to get in there and work the 7 days a week. So be prepared for that just in case there are no closing days. Again, we do not guarantee the night or day shifts. Once you go through your training, Michigan Sugar looks at their needs on site and they will place you on a night or day shift. And so that is something, again, Express does not do. These jobs require the ability to lift, pull, and push a minimum of 25 pounds. So again, we are shoveling, we are lifting, we're picking up beets, we're pulling, stuff. We are moving. It's a constant moving job especially when the trucks are not there and you're cleaning and you're getting things done. And so that would be a part of the condition that you would need to be, ready for when taking on this job. You must be able to bend, stoop, shovel, climb around heavy equipment several times a shift. And so I'll break that down to you. The truck has left, it's dumped its beets, we're gonna clean up. So we're cleaning the dirt that's maybe fallen around the machine. We're climbing on the machine when it is safe and properly locked down, and we're cleaning out the mud and getting all of the machine ready. As the cleaner the machine, the more productive we can be, the less shutdowns, and we can get the process moving pretty quickly. You must have the ability to be on your feet regularly and use your hands, arms, legs repeatedly on the job. This includes walking on slippery and uneven surfaces. This job also requires the ability to stand for extended periods. So you are not sitting on this job. You are outside standing. You sit during your break when you take your break. But this is a job where you are constantly standing. I tell people this is why you keep moving. I know for me, it was an adjustment standing for 9 hours, my first couple of days, but a great leader told me just stay busy cleaning, move around, and it really helps you be able to not feel the discomfort of maybe never standing on your feet for 9 hours. This job requires the ability to perform essential job tasks in less than favorable conditions at times. So you're going to be performing different scenarios, and the temperatures could be warm. The temperatures it could be windy, it can be cold. Again, I said in Michigan, there was days that I showed up and I was in layer after layer, and by noon I was hot and, you know, taking those layers, coats and extra gloves off to do the job. So again, we do not control the weather. We wish that we had the power to do that, but we do not. And so we have to be prepared for that. All right, let's get to the fun juice of this whole process, and that is the pay. So you can expect to make $20.04 per hour this year at the Michigan Beet Harvest. That is for the pilot operator, tear taker job and position that we hire for. You can earn up to $1,400 per week. All hours after 40 hours are overtime. So once you've worked your 40 hours, you go into overtime. Seasonal completion bonus. And so let me go over a couple of these. When I say you can earn up to $1,400 per week, that is, you know, working your overtime, working your hours, showing up at your shifts, getting, you know, your hours in for the week. All hours after 40 are overtime, so that is time and a half of your salary that you're getting of the $20.04. And our seasonal completion bonus is in a sliding scale. So for your first year this year, if you've never worked the harvest and you qualify for all of the seasonal completion bonus guidelines that we present to you in our Workamper coordinator call, as well, you know, when you're in the office, you know exactly what it is that you can do to achieve that seasonal completion bonus. You will be at 7% your first year. When you sign back up, because you had such a phenomenal time your first year, your second year will be a 10% bonus. And then because you love 2 years in a row and you sign up again your third year and you want to just come at it again and make more money but enjoy the harvest, that is going to be a 12% bonus. So that is something different this year. Michigan Sugar has seen a way to help us Workampers make more money, help us Workampers, you know, feel appreciated that we're working the harvest year after year. And so this is an incentive that they have presented to us this year, and we are very happy to say that we feel like it's going to be very successful. I know I've heard from many of the returning rehire employees that have been with us a couple of years, and they're excited to go up to the 12%. So it's a fun incentive. Solo work campers. So the Michigan area, we do allow solo work campers. With that being said, with the solo work campers, if you're out on, you know, a campsite, it doesn't really affect you, but our hotels, we do ask for there to be 2 occupants. And so we ask, if you are a solo work camper, that you find somebody that you know, family member that's coming along with you because they want to experience this wonderful harvest. And we will, you know, talk to our Workamper coordinator on how to get you as a solo work camper involved. But yes, we have plenty of people that are solo work campers in their RVs, and they're coming along and they can apply for the harvest. Our late arrival program is also available. So you would definitely want to talk to your Workamper coordinator so she can explain a little bit more about that to you. But we have a program where you know, if you're going to need to be a day or two late because you're at another job and you want to come through, we do have a process and a policy of how we do that. All right, our campgrounds. So we supply campgrounds for all of the piling sites that we can. There are some piling sites that there are not campgrounds close. And so that's where we use a lot of our locals. But for our campgrounds, we make the reservation and pay for your campsite for the whole time you're at the harvest. And so that is something that you do not have to take care of. Our Workamper coordinator and myself, we make sure that you have a reservation that is paid for. We do a great job with communicating each month. You're given information before you even arrive of where you're going, what your campground is, you know, where you're going to be staying. Some of the places have sites that are reserved. Some are fairgrounds, so it's just come and find a spot that you feel like you would feel comfortable. There's a lot of different things about the campgrounds. Applicants who sign up later in the season may be placed at a campground with some driving time. And so what that means is some of our campgrounds are 2 or 3 minutes away from a piling site, and some of our campgrounds are a 15 to 20-minute drive to a piling site. So if you have not applied, I would go ahead and get on there and apply, because you want to get to a campsite that is close to a piling grounds. Most of our campgrounds are located in very close to towns with gas and groceries. And so we try to get you in areas that when you're off work, you can fill up your tanks, you can get some groceries and have the needs that you need to have to finish the harvest. We do hire camp hosts. This year we have hired all of the camp hosts that we currently are in need of, and some of our sites do not need camp hosts, but when they do, we hire those, and they are there to help you, where you're going to park and give you a little bit of guideline to the campground. If by chance you're at one of the sites that everybody will have electricity, everybody will have water, but there are sites that do not have full hookups as far as your sewer. So we have a honey wagon. We have worked with the company for the last 3 years. They are phenomenal. They do a great job with making sure that your tanks are empty. It's a scheduled day at your campground, so you're going to be educated on when they're coming. They do a great job with helping us take care of you guys while you're working. With that being said, we tell everybody, please, and you'll hear it in your Workamper call, please go ahead and make sure that when you show up at the campground that your RV is empty. So stop by, the different speedways or wherever it is that you dump your tanks, and that way, if we're on a schedule and you're showing up and it's a Tuesday and maybe our honey wagon isn't coming till Thursday, we want to make sure that you guys are going to be okay and everything's good to go until that service is provided for you. We understand how important pets are. People travel with their pets, and pets become your family. We do ask that all pets remain on a leash. This is a privilege for us to be at these beautiful campgrounds and these sites, and it's a privilege for us to be able to have a place to park safely while we are doing the harvest. So we want to make sure that we respect one another on the campgrounds, and that we also respect the grounds that we are actually renting for this harvest. So please do not abuse the privilege of having your pets with you. Let's make sure that we're kind and we clean up after our pets. We make sure that they're on a leash so all pets are safe. It just is the best for everybody involved to make sure that we take care of the surrounding on the campground as well, respect each other. Your camp host will have individual guidelines per campground on the pet policy and different stuff that they're asking for us to have. Again, I spoke about it. We have full and partial hookups are available. So some of you will have at campgrounds, and this is not something you can request. Again, get on there and fill out your application, because we fill those slots pretty quickly. But some of your sites will need a honey wagon, and then other people will have the in-ground sewer hookup available. So you're showing up in the fall. Fall is beautiful in Michigan. It's a beautiful state to watch the trees. If you've never been in a state that goes through the season of fall like Michigan does, it's an absolutely beautiful place to have a job and spend your time there sightseeing. This time of year, the weather can range from 75 degrees to 30s, and I've seen both. I've worked harvest where it's October again, and I'm standing there in a t-shirt, to where I've worked harvest and I'm in my hoodie and my gloves, and it's a little, colder, and I've got my warm coffee. So let's be prepared. The more prepared we are, the more successful we are with the harvest. And I speak from experience. I tell people, with the weather conditions that we have, turn your vehicle into a closet and a kitchen. So have food in there for snacks and different things you need, but definitely have clothing that's going to help you be successful when it is hot and help you be successful when we have the lower temperatures. And you can see, the average high to the average low in September, we can go from 73 to 61. In November, we're at 46 to 38. So the temperatures definitely do change and fluctuate in Michigan. Orientation and training. So this is something that really helps you get connected. Once you've been talking to your Workamper coordinator throughout the year, you're going to show up. You're going to have your arrival information. Please follow that information. That information is going to give you a designated time to come in for your orientation and training. There are so many of you. Again, we said we hire over 700 workers for this harvest. So we want to make sure everybody has the time they need to, make sure they're educated for the harvest. So when you do receive that letter, it's going to tell you your date and time for your orientation. Please allow 2-hour process for this. So you're going to be in the office up to 2 hours. You're going to finish your little bit of paperwork. Most of you I know are going to be phenomenal and do your online paperwork that is sent to you from your Workamper. And so when you show up, you're just going to have a little bit left over to do. You're going to complete that necessary paperwork. And then it's very important, we're going to watch a safety film. We watch this safety film whether we have worked with the harvest 1 year or 5 years or 20 years. This is just a refresher for those of us that have worked it. It's updated information that changes, each year. And so everyone will watch this video and make sure that they are familiar with what's going to happen in their training as well when they're working the harvest. Once this process has happened, you will receive a 4-hour training. This is paid on site. So you will be set up with the time to go out onto the piling grounds, and you will learn from what the machine looks like, how it runs, what your job as a tear taker piler operator would be. You can ask questions. Safety is the biggest thing for us with Michigan Sugar as well as Express. We believe in safety is our #1. So this is a good time to pay attention in training, find out where the spots are, make sure you're aware of how to be safe around the machine, how to be safe around the trucks. Safety is a #1. I tell people, if you came with 3 fingers, we like you to leave with 3 fingers. If you came with 5 fingers, we want you to leave with 5. So we want you to come there and experience a safe environment. This 4-hour training is a great time for you to pay attention to what is needed to do the job in a safe and excellent manner. The training will depend on your position. So if you're someone that gets picked for the special equipment, you might have a different training than those that are doing the operator tear taker position. All of this is again done at the piling site, so you get a hands-on experience during your training. So some of the frequent asked questions that we have come to us, what do we do for lunch breaks? And so this is where your Workamper coordinator will go through all of this, but you will take lunch breaks either in your vehicle, or some of our sites do have break rooms. Most of them actually have some type of area that you can, go in and throw something in the microwave, heat up your lunch, get out of the element. But for the majority of your breaks, and some of you, it will be at your vehicle. So again, that's why I tell people to make their vehicle a little bit of space for snacks and your lunch and extra stuff that you need, because your vehicle will be placed by you while you work the harvest. How far do I drive to work? So the longest commute for the Michigan Sugar Harvest would be up to a 25. I think the longest route is 25 minutes that it can take up to one of our piling ground sites. What about grocery stores? There are plenty of grocery stores in Michigan that you're able to get. Usually they're open at good hours. I've not heard any complaints with our grocery stores at our Michigan sites. They're pretty easy to access whether you're working the morning or night shift. Where will I be stationed? You will be placed in the Thelma, Michigan based off a need. So that is something that we work very closely with Michigan Sugar to know who needs what and what area that we need people, and the Workamper coordinator will place you at those spots. Can we be with our friends? We do a great job trying to make sure that you can be with your friends. Again, this is really important for you to make sure that you're all applying, at the same time, and have those conversations with your Workamper coordinator. We do not guarantee that you can be with your friends, but we do our best to make sure that if you're traveling with a group of people that we can place you at a piling site and be with your friends. If not, it's a phenomenal opportunity to make new friends. If you are not with some of your people you've known for years, it's a great opportunity to meet new work campers and continue with growing in that community. How do I get medications? Again, most of us are pretty aware of how we get our medications on the road as work campers. We have, it's set up how we get them sent to us. And so you would need to follow that same policy. If you have everything sent to a local post office, you would want to go ahead and set that up. That is, we do not have mailboxes or any mail delivery for personal mail or medications that we set up through Express. What will I need for clothes and shoes? And so again, we do not need steel toe boots. I do recommend, and Express recommends the boots that come up to your ankles, gives you support while you're standing there for those 9 hours, keeps your feet warm. Clothes, everybody's different. Everybody feels different out in those elements. And so some of you will do great working in a couple layers and a hoodie and your boots and gloves. Some of you will be head to toe covered in, scarves and, well, not scarves because that's not safe for the area, but double layers and, maybe the big, thick, heavy hats. So that's going to be dependent on you and how you gauge working out in those environments. What equipment is provided? So we will be providing, Michigan Sugar provides your safety goggles, your safety vest. You will receive a rain jacket. So if it is raining, you can cover and not be cold, and a pair of gloves. We also have masks and hand sanitizer and different stuff that we provide on site for you. When do I get paid? So depending on when the harvest starts and the way that the paycheck comes through, you will have a calendar showing you all of the paydays, but it is a bi-weekly pay. And so those hours that you do a 4-hour training usually are on your first check, and from there on it is a bi-weekly check that you have. Let's get social. So we do a great job. We have a great social media presence. We have a great team that handles updating on Facebook, Instagram, all the different social media places. You can always find out, some tidbit information if we have some new information. So please visit our, Michigan Beet Harvest on our social media for Facebook, on Instagram. We do what's called TikTok. We have a lot of things that we are trying to do on that as well. But to get on the application and fill out the application to join the harvest, you would want to go to www.michiganbeetharvest.com. And so today after the call, if you have not applied, that would be your next go-to today. Get on there, fill out an application, and with that application, you are going to get a phone call that is a one-on-one. We pride ourselves with Express, we pride ourselves on our communication and our personal touch. And so we talk to you personally one-on-one, answer more questions, go over your application, and just really make sure this is going to be a great fit for you to come and do this seasonal job in Michigan. But definitely connect to us on social media. All right, Jody, that concludes our presentation that we have with a little bit of information to give more education on the Michigan Beet Harvest.
Woo! Yeah, great job, Crystal. Lots of good details there. So attendees, happy to take your questions. So go ahead and type those in now. If you have that control panel on your screen, you should have a questions or chat section that you can type in. If you're on a smartphone or tablet, you should have that questions option down along the bottom of your screen. And just to mention, while we're waiting for some questions to come in and give Crystal a little breather here, just from my experience working with Express, whether it's the Michigan harvest or the main harvest with American Crystal, the Express team has truly taken the time to understand the Workamper and enhance and reorganize their program to meet the needs of Workampers and understand who you guys are. So it's been a joy to watch them try new things and different things, and the system that they've created to get you guys the information and stay connected with you throughout the hiring process, and that in between time before being, from being hired to starting the harvest and everything. It's really cool, the systems that they put in place. And like Crystal has said, and like others will say, the harvest isn't for everybody, and that's why they're taking the time doing Jobinars like this, doing the calls that they do, things like that, to give you guys the information so you can make the best decision on whether you think it'll be right for you or not. So I definitely applaud them, and have myself enjoyed working with Crystal and the rest of the Express team. So just wanted to give them that little shout out.
Thank you, Jody. And we do take pride in that. We once you apply and you've talked to your Workamper coordinator, we don't forget about you. We contact you once a month, and so it is a constant. We give you the information to contact us if you have questions. So it is definitely something where we're communicating between now and harvest. You're not just left out there, wondering what's going on. We send a monthly newsletter out with a lot of stuff that we put on there. So I appreciate the kind comments, Jody. We do take pride in making sure that we communicate as well as we can with the Workampers.
For sure. Absolutely. All right. Well, we got some good questions coming in. Very good. Lots of good questions, guys. So I'll try to not jump around too much on topics, but we'll do that a little bit. All right. Crystal, after completing an application, how long typically is it before a Workamper might hear about an interview?
Okay, once you've filled out the application, you will receive an email. That email is just going to thank you for applying, and within 48 hours, you should receive an additional email from our Workamper coordinator. Again, weekends might make that a little longer process, but we do our best to try to reach out within 48 to 72 hours, and that will set you up with a time that you can have that one-on-one conversation and what we call the checklist. And that is a 45-minute to an hour time where we sit and go through everything and the checklist with you to see if this is going to be a good process with you. So once you fill out the application, you should hear something within a couple of days. Again, be mindful if it's a weekend, and you should be able to be connected soon.
Awesome. Okay, great. And Crystal, let's just hit on again where they go to fill out an application. And also, if they're a two-person team or maybe a family with multiple adult workers, does each person need to fill out an application?
Oh, that's a great question. So you want to go to www.michiganbeetharvest.com. And yes, each individual, whether you're all in one RV, each of you would need to fill out your application. And there's a couple reasons. One, we like to treat you all as individuals. And so we want to make sure that you are treated as an individual with us, whether you're all in one RV. We want to contact you, give you the information. Now, we can do the calls, the checklist calls as a group, but we would need to make sure that each individual fills out their own application.
Absolutely. Yeah, makes sense. And Crystal, what is the minimum age to work the harvest with you guys?
You need to be 18 years old to work the harvest.
Okay, perfect. All right, quite a few folks here have this question. Are these positions where the worker will receive a 1099 or a W-2 for tax time?
This would be a W-2.
All righty. And then also kind of just some insurance-y kind of question, well, not insurance, but well, sort of. Okay, if a worker is injured on the job, who typically covers that?
Okay, we have a great system set up, and so we do, once in a while have somebody that is, from a minor little injury of cut. We take everything seriously, and we pride ourselves in safety, so we don't have to use the system a lot, but we have a system set in place, a work comp system. We have a nurse hotline. We have information for you to get in contact immediately if by chance there would be any small or major incident that would happen on site.
Cool. Okay. Yep. Makes sense. This is not your first rodeo.
Correct.
All right, let's see. An attendee here heard that there were management positions. Are you hiring for those?
We are, and so the management positions is what we call a harvest leader. So when you fill out your application online, please, there's a space that you can connect a resume. When you get that call from your Workamper coordinator, you can at that time go through the checklist. She will go through everything with you to make sure it's a good fit. And then the resume and stuff is actually sent to myself. And so please just tell them that you're interested in applying for the management position. That management position brings you in a little earlier than everyone else because we like to give you all the tools in the toolbox to be able to, work with your staff. And so if you are somebody that has management experience, please go ahead and fill out that online application, speak to your Workamper coordinator, and she will make sure that everything gets to my desk and I'm able to communicate with you to do an interview with you for that position.
Cool. Okay, awesome. All right, that sounds good. Okay, let's see. Is the $20.04 an hour the least a work camper would earn regardless of position?
Yes, that is our, so we have the position that we hire for the pilot operator caretaker, that is $20.04. And then the two positions that you could possibly be hired for are higher amounts, but the lowest is $20.04.
Okay, awesome. All right, and let's talk about timing again here. So what will you go over the harvest timing again, please?
Absolutely. So this year we're looking to bring people in. In October, we're looking to maybe, again, Mother Nature and based off the need of Michigan sugar to start harvest this year around the 20th of October. So you can look to come in, a couple of days ahead of time. That's all done, as we're booking sites and getting the office orientation done. So some of you might come in a day different than others, but we look to bring you in a couple of days ahead of time to get your training done and get all your paperwork done. So this year, I would say that we could say between the 14th and the 20th is when we would start bringing people in and have them at their campground and getting all their paperwork done to start the harvest, if indeed it does start on the 20th of October.
Sure. And I believe on the slide before it said it was it 18 to 21 working days typically?
Correct. Yes, it's 18 to 21 working days to actually, finish the harvest and be able to pile the beets. We do ask for a 30-day commitment, and that is for the days Mother Nature might, have a shutdown a day or two with weather. We don't know, how she's going to behave this year. And so the 30-day commitment is allowing us to make sure we get those 18 to 21-day harvest days done.
For sure.
And that allows you to still make your income that you're looking to make. Some people get a little nervous if maybe we have a day off. Well, that 30-day commitment is still going to allow you to make the money that we have been, offered to make in that 18 to 21 days.
Awesome. Okay, sure. And do you guys have any kind of late arrival program, especially if a work camper is maybe wanting to do the American Crystal Harvest in North Dakota, Minnesota, and then come to Michigan?
We do. I'll be very honest with you. It is a very fluke. It's happened one time. The harvest usually lag, but what we do ask, if you have worked the American Crystal or the Unbeatable Experience, and that is where you're going to be working, you can speak to your Workamper coordinator and let them know you would like to be on a list to come to Michigan afterwards. But you would need to complete that harvest completely and be released from that assignment before you could come to Michigan. It's we try to, respect all of the clients and make sure that whoever we've hired finishes and completes that harvest before they move on to another harvest. Can it happen? Absolutely. We've had a couple people come each year, but it's not a big number, just to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yep. Totally makes sense. And so how long before and after the working dates does Express cover the campground site?
So let's just put out there, you're going to show up, we're going to say your day of arrival is the 15th. From the day you show up, again, that's why it's very important to follow the letter that you're given, the arrival letter, because those are the days that you specifically have been paid for. So arriving a week early, a couple of days early, your site might not be available and it will not be covered by Express. So if I send you a letter and say October 15th is your arrival date, that is going to be the beginning of when we cover for your campground, and then up to 48 hours once you have completed the harvest. And so you get done with the harvest, we don't just throw you out and say, you know, on to your next adventure. We give you some time to get your things together and, you know, get your house stocked back up, maybe have a sleep-in day and prepare for that.
Awesome. Yeah. And so if a work camper would want to come before or stay longer than that, the work camper would just need to themselves individually coordinate with that specific campground to see if there would be availability for them to do so.
You are correct. And I'm just going to put it out there. Michigan is a very busy time of the year. They have a lot of locals. And so getting the campgrounds is not as easy during the summer and early fall times. That's why it's important when you guys get on and fill the application out and we go ahead and get you hired for the harvest and book those sites, because we try to get those done and take care of it, because it's very slim pickings at that time of the year. But you are correct. We would not cover any early arrival whatsoever or late stay as well.
Sure. Okay. Yep. Makes sense. All right. So folks who are traveling, maybe there are more humans in their RV than just one, but only one human wants to work the harvest. Is that okay with you guys?
Absolutely. We do have whoever is working the harvest, we'll put the information down when they come into the office so we know who's on the campsite. And we do ask that the individual that is working make it very understandable and clear to everyone in the RV that everybody follows under the campground guidelines as far as the rules and the way that we conduct ourselves on the campground.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And is there any other difference in, you know, like there's no additional fee that they would pay for the campsite if there are non-workers living in the RV?
No, ma'am. We will pay for that site for the worker that's there, and if they have their children, if there's extra family, you know, friends, whoever it is. Again, we just ask that everybody respect the policy of the campground, and as well, the only individual that is working would be the only individual that we would want onto the piling grounds.
Sure, totally. Okay, all right, sounds good. Let's talk about shifts. Can you please be specific about night shift hours? Like, is it evenings into night or late night into morning?
Okay, well, I will do my best to explain the differences. Michigan has piling sites that are 24 hours, and we have piling sites that are not. And so that would be based on the need of where you're at. So I will give an example to help you maybe understand that. If you're working at a site that's 24 hours, you might have a shift that starts at 6 p.m. and runs through the night. If you're at a shift or at a piling site that closes and they are not operating for 24 hours, you might have an evening shift that stops at 11 p.m. And so I can't give just one mask answer to that, as each site out of the 14 piling sites that we do have, they all operate for their site. And so their shifts are set per site, but everybody isn't guaranteed a certain set of hours across the board.
Sure. Okay. And how are the days handled that you're not able to work due to weather? Will there be half-day mandatory days?
So we are in the process of still working with Michigan Sugar to see what's the best fit for everybody. So I'm just going to speak on what we've done in the years in the past. This is subject to change, again, as we are, early in conversation with them. But in the past, if we have been shut down, say due to rain or due to heat or, several reasons that, whatever the reason might be that Michigan Sugar has chosen to shut down, in the past, they have offered a 4-hour work day. What that means is you could come in and earn 4 hours of pay, and that might be cleaning the machine a little extra, getting it ready for when we start back up, in different odds and in, jobs that we're doing on the piling site. And so that is how it has worked the last couple of years. Again, That could be subject to change, but as of right now, that is what we have done in the past. And so you at least get 4 hours of pay. And most of the time that is volunteer. So if you know that it's a rainy day and you're like, you know what, I'm good with not working today, then you don't get, nothing is held against you for not working those 4 hours. Most of the time that is a volunteer time.
Okay, cool, awesome. All right, some flexibility there. Okay, let's see. So generally speaking, what are the usual working schedules?
Generally speaking, again, I would love to give you a schedule that is the same, but generally speaking, if you're day shift, you might show up and be working at 6 in the morning until 3:30. There's some sites, again, that come in the afternoon at 2:30. When I say that each site is individually done as far as hours, that's pretty much how it works in Michigan. But if you are just working a day shift, you could look to have to be at work around 6 in the morning.
Cool. Okay. All right. A couple more questions here. Are there opportunities for heavy equipment operators to transition into a full-time position outside of the harvest?
That is something that Express does not. We do not do any of the hiring of that. We strictly just hire for the seasonal position.
Sure. Okay. All right. And here's an interesting question that is specific to 2024.
Okay.
This person is asking, this being a presidential election year, will we be able to leave so we can vote at our home location?
Okay.
Interesting.
I've never been asked that, but I'm going to say that once you're at harvest, I would maybe go ahead and get you something sent to you where you can do a mail-in vote. That would be something that we would have to discuss individually, because once the harvest has started and you are on the campground and you are working, we do ask you for that commitment to be there and do the job.
Yeah, and home location is going to vary. If your home location is an hour away, or is it 4 states away?
Correct. So I would go ahead, being that it is an election year, I would go ahead and maybe find out how you can be in Michigan and still be able to participate the way that you want to politically participate in your state.
Yeah, absolutely. So check in with your individual state's voting parameters.
Correct.
Cool. All right. Question here, Crystal, about the 4-hour training.
Yes.
Is there hands-on training? Does it have hands-on training on video? Will we be able to see what we will be doing?
Yes, you are actually on the site. So this is the video that you're watching is just during your 2-hour orientation, just giving you an idea about everything that is involved in the harvest, but your physical training is out at a piling site. So you are out at the machine. You are watching the beets come through. There are workers that have been working that are locally there, because we have a couple days that we have what's called early dig, and that has nothing to do with us with Express for our harvest, but we are bringing in beets. So you will be physically out on a piling site for those 4 hours of training.
Sure. Okay, cool. That sounds fun. All right, and let's talk a little bit about any sort of RV requirements, certain types of RVs, or what requirements does Express have?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we do have requirements, and again, I keep going back to the application because it's so vital to fill out that online application and get that one-on-one conversation with your Workamper. Because we have a whole list. I know some of you are van lifers. I know some of you travel in a Class C, you're in a Class A. There's so many qualifications and so many ways of life that we travel, but we do have guidelines. We do have a guideline as in your RV, a place to sleep, place to, cook your food. Again, with weather, we do not permit, outside. You can set up outside stuff, but you have to have a way inside your RV to be able to stay warm and, get all your needs met, not just an outside station, because if the weather's bad, we want to make sure that you're not starting because you couldn't go outside and, you know, get your dinner ready. So when you have that call, there's guidelines that we do have, and there's a lot of the schoolies and the different bus conversions, you know, will ask for pictures to make sure that you have those guidelines. And so it varies to what you need. We're not everybody has to have the class A and come in there and be fully loaded, but there are qualifications to make sure that it's safe for you as well, going to be successful for you to be able to do the harvest.
Sure. Yeah, because it's possible some of the campground areas may not have bathhouses and shower houses.
Correct.
So that's, yeah, certainly something that would have to be.
Those are really good conversations that you have with your work camper. We have our van lifers that we understand need those facilities. So we would place you at sites that have the shower houses and be able to use those. So those one-on-one calls with the work camper coordinator are really vital for so many parts of the process of the harvest.
Awesome. Okay. And for those who are listening who maybe are traveling, maybe they are, traveling just in a, normal, like a truck or a SUV, and they're maybe tenting. Is there housing options that would be available for folks who don't have maybe a hard-sided RV with the things?
Okay, we do have housing. It is limited. There is limited space. Again, we do ask for it to be a two-person occupancy into those hotels. We do have housing. It is limited, so the sooner that you apply and have those conversations. With Michigan Sugar, the housing is for our rehires. So I want to be very clear on that. So if this is your first year and you have never worked the harvest, but you're needing to stay in a hotel, you would be placed on a waiting list for that. We just do, and this is something new this year. So if you've heard about it before, I want to, let you know it is something new, that our hotels are for our rehires, so that's someone that has worked the harvest with us before.
Sure. Okay, that sounds good. Question come in here that came in just about the campsites. Would any of the campgrounds have their water turned off due to colder weather?
In the last year, we did not have it but one day, but yes, there is a potential that the water is shut off due to the fact of, Mother Nature and the temperatures. When that is done, Express does a great job communicating, and we have a water service that would come out and fill your tanks. We try to give you at least 24-hour notice, so if you need to get water brought in, if you need to have, your tanks filled, if you need to do whatever you need to do, we do our best to communicate that with the campgrounds and foresee that you have the water that you need.
Awesome. Very cool. All right. If folks are considering the harvest maybe for 2025, when can they start applying for future seasons?
You can apply for the 2025. There's a spot on the website, and so you're able to go ahead and get that information out, and we will contact you at the appropriate time and get you ready for that harvest as well.
Cool. All right. You guys are plan aheaders too. I like it.
All right.
Awesome. All right. Well, we've gone through the questions that were submitted ahead of time, or submitted during our presentation here. So last call, live attendees, if you have any questions, go ahead and get those submitted now. But Crystal, is there anything else you can think of that we haven't covered, or anything else you want to share?
No, I want to thank everybody that joined us on the Jobinar, and I can't stress enough, filling out that application isn't necessarily I'm definitely coming, but it's full of information. And again, we pride ourselves on that one-on-one. So this is a call where you can ask questions that you maybe came up with after this Jobinar. I always tell people you're going to hear things that you didn't even think about. And so we have a whole checklist that we go through to make sure that when you come to the harvest, that you are educated, you are successful, and you can come there, earn some money to continue on these journeys that we all are out there doing to as Workamper communities. So I highly suggest you to get on there, fill out that application at www.michiganbeetharvest.com, and so we can reach out to you and have that one-on-one.
Sure. And Crystal, we've had the phone number's been on the screen now on this last slide for a while. But Crystal, if you could just go ahead and say the phone number out loud for everybody.
Absolutely. So if you would need to contact us by phone, it's 888-791-6738.
Awesome. All right, well, everybody go online, MichiganBeetHarvest.com. That's where you will find more information, contact information, application process, etc. Thank you again, Crystal. You and everyone at Express, again, just doing a great job, and looking forward to another successful harvest season for you guys.
Thank you, Jody. We are as well. And again, we appreciate your opportunity to do this, and each year, you partnering with us. We are so thankful for that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. All right, well, Workampers, get your applications in and continue considering Michigan for a new adventure. The sugar beet harvest is one of those things. Most Workampers, it's on their bucket list. They got to try it at least once. So hopefully you can add that to your bucket list now too. But wherever you go, wherever you want to travel, we definitely wish you safe travels and happy Workamping. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.